Hi, what's your name?
Phillip Graham.
Okay, Philip. Should I call you Philip or Phil?
Phil's fine,
Okay,
thanks.
Phil, good. Why don't we start off, Phil, and just, well, tell me about yourself.
Well, Chris, my work life started at a young age growing up on farms and ranches. After high school, I went to work in a hotel to pay for college, and I probably worked in every department there was in a full-service hotel at one time or another. But I ended up settling into a building maintenance engineer's position.
Okay.
That sort of ended up being a career move, since in about a year I was promoted to an assistant chief engineer.
This was at the hotel?
Yes.
Okay.
2 years later, as a director of engineering.
Okay.
I kept that position for about 20 years, working in various five-star hotels and resorts around the country. Then I was promoted to a regional engineer's position. I also cross-trained as a general manager and worked as an assistant general manager for a period of time.
So you had quite a bit of experience in that field.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Then I was introduced to the assisted living business by an acquaintance and offered and accepted a job as a regional vice president of operations. I held that position for about 4 years, and then I segued into the operations side of the business and became a regional operations director.
Wow, quite a career up there from the very beginning, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, talk to me a little bit about your management style, Phil. When you're working with people, how do you manage them? How do you lead them? That sort of thing.
Chris, I feel that leaders need to do just that, lead. We need to be out front. We need to be setting the example. I think it's important to motivate, train, and develop people. That's also very rewarding. It's also very important for a manager to give specific expectations as it relates to a job. Because I feel that way you can best evaluate people's performance based on how they meet or exceed those expectations. Probably one of my most memorable management experiences was working for and getting to know J. Willard Marriott, the founder of the Marriott Corporation.
Oh, okay.
At each one of his hotels, he required him to have a Polaroid camera. And whenever he'd come to visit, he would summon for the Polaroid camera and go immediately. First place was to the dish room. He'd gather the dishwashers around and the kitchen stewards, and he would take pictures with them individually, sign it, and give the picture to them. He'd then go down to the housekeeping department and do the same thing. And you could see what that did to people. I mean, it just elated people. But I felt that there was a philosophy, a management philosophy behind that. So one day, I was always fortunate enough to be able to tour Mr. Marriott around some of the newly constructed hotels. And one day when I was touring him, I asked him, I said, explain to me what your philosophy is behind that. And he said, Phil, I can hire chefs for $100,000 a year in my kitchen, cook great meals. I'll never get a meal out of the kitchen unless I have clean dishes. I can build hotels with great hotel rooms, lavishly appoint them, but if they're not clean, I'll never rent one. So who's more important? He says, if you'll take care of the people that are closest to your product, customer, or service, compensate them fairly, treat them with respect, you'll be a great manager.
Yeah, very good advice.
And you know, I took that advice to heart, Chris, and I carried that through my management career and used it very successfully with all levels of employees.
Well, on that note, looking back on your career, is there an accomplishment or maybe a success or an achievement that you're proud of you could share with me?
There's a couple. Actually, I'd like to share a personal one with you first. I've been happily married to a wonderful woman for 31 years. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And raised two great daughters that are now exceptional women. But on a career note, probably the first assisted living company that I went to work with was a great accomplishment. It was also a very exciting time. It was a young company. When I joined them, we took it from 17 communities to 33 assisted living communities in a period of about a year and a half. I was able to develop and implement a comprehensive preventive maintenance program, a corporate purchasing program, a capital expenditure program, as well as just general facility backup. These programs not only helped the company to save a considerable amount of money, which obviously positively affected the bottom line, but it also helped with fiscal planning. But probably more importantly is that it relieved the executive directors at each one of these communities from a lot of headaches and frustration with facility management. It really allowed them to spend their time on resident care, employee issues, and occupancy. And I share this story with you because I feel it's a great example of my diverse abilities.
Well, I guess bottom line, maybe you've already answered this in a way by telling those stories, but I mean, bottom line, companies always have 3 or 4 or more good candidates to fill a key position. Why would you encourage them to hire you, Phil?
Well, Chris, if a company is looking for an energetic, resourceful team player with diverse knowledge and abilities, I'd make a great addition to their management team.
Well said.
And I also feel I'd make I'd represent a great return on their investment.
Okay. Well, Phil, I certainly appreciate you spending some time with me.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Okay, thanks a lot.